Hello.
Hello. How the devil are you all?
And welcome to this live episode of Realm of the Supernatural. Right, this is a live episode for our 100th episode because we forgot it was our 100th episode.
Yeah.
So we decided to do a special.
We never counted really how many episodes we did we?
No, we never.
We just found out. Oh yeah, it's our 100th.
Well, when I went to post the Dale Harder show, that's when I realised it was.
Yeah.
It was the 100th episode. Anyway, so
to celebrate with my shandy in a Jim Jam jar.
Indeed, we're going to talk a little bit about
that.
Some cryptids. Got some ghost stories, little
we have
urban legend things.
Yeah, just a few little things.
Yeah, so
keep you interested.
I'm not quite sure how the group chat works here, so I don't. If anyone wants to say hello, so
just come in and say hello.
Yeah, just so we know you're there.
Chat any questions.
Obviously, share this where you can.
Yeah.
Everybody actually shares it somewhere or get entered into a t-shirt competition, free t-shirt, some shit.
Yeah.
So good at that. So right, first we're going to give you a listener story from John. You've got it on your thing, on you. Who encountered something strange in the woods. So we wanted to do that first.
Yes.
And I'm just hoping that this is. I know it's live, so I hope it's quite. It don't get awkward. Like, so we've had some awkward times, haven't we? When we used to go to. Well, put it this way: don't ever go to a what's it called? What people housewarming party.
Well, yeah.
Don't ever go to a housewarming party with a psychic medium, right? Because it doesn't go too well. Because you've got you've got Julie there saying, "Oh, I love your granite work tops," and you've got Mary saying, "Oh, I love your curtains," and Bob saying, "Oh, I love how you've painted this place," and then you've got psychic medium saying shit like,
"Do you know the Edna's in your kitchen?" And she wants you out. She's what the are you doing in my kitchen? And I've had that a few times, by the way.
And we don't get invited back.
No, we don't. We just think we're complete and utter loonies, and we never get invited back. Well, okay. They've asked me a question. I'm just truthful about it. We've got a lady in the kitchen. She says, "What the f are you doing in my kitchen?"
That's it. So do you want to?
I can. I'm going to read this for John, my good friend John. I'm going to read this for John, and right. John says, "This is my encounter. I'll start by saying, hi, I have lived my entire life in the woods of the Appalachians Mountains. Very beautiful place.
Indeed.
I was raised by a game warden of the state of Virginia. Our life was fishing and hunting. I thought I knew every animal in the woods. In 1989, that all changed. In 1987, I moved to the mountains of Northwest North Carolina for work. Being an avid hunter, I started searching for places to hunt without trespassing. I made friends with a gentleman that had a 300-acre plot of untouched forest. That's great. He told me to treat it as if it were mine. Well, that's not the guy. Well. Anyway, I spent every spare minute I had exploring those woods. Never anything out of the ordinary until the fall of 1989. I had started scouting a different section of the forest for bow season. I built a small shelter, set up 2 tree stands the week before my encounter. My wife and I went in to spend the night in my shelter. It was about 1.5 miles of hiking in from the dirt road access. We made it to the shelter about 7 p.m. when what we found was a disaster area. I had made my shelter out of 4-inch diameter logs with a pine bough roof. Stones as large as my head had been thrown through it. It was a shambles. I thought maybe some other hunters had done this, trying to intimidate me into leaving this area. My wife wanted to leave immediately. I calmed her down and we stayed until about 11 p.m. Then we started hearing screams coming from deeper in the woods. At first, I'm thinking it's a bobcat, but as it went on, it sounded too deep and long for a bobcat. My wife was ready to go, and truthfully, I was getting jumpy. That's something I have never felt in any forest. On our walk out, we could hear something trailers on both sides. We made it out and headed home. All the way we talked about who would go that far back into the woods to destroy my shelter. We get home exhausted, take a shower and go straight to bed. A few days later is when Hurricane Hugo hit. That storm was massive. It made its way inland as far as we lived. Trees down everywhere. No electricity, no water. It was a bad one. I couldn't go hunting until about 2 weeks later. So finally the weekend came and I was in the woods way before daylight. All the trails were blocked by downed trees. It took me a while to get around all those tangled messes. Finally, I made it to where one of my tree stands had been, but it was now on the ground. So I knew daylight was fast approaching. I decided to hunt from the ground. I hid myself beside some upturned roots. They were taller than me. I settled in and waited. I heard a few things moving around, but no deer. I took out some jerky and started to eat it. Then all of a sudden, it sounded like a whole herd was coming in from behind me at full run. I eased around the roots, hoping to ambush, but it was too late. They zipped by me so fast I couldn't even draw my bow. That's when I saw it. It was about 6 foot. Sorry, it was about 6 foot up a tree on the other side of the trail, with its back to me. For just a moment, I thought it was a tan color black bear, which isn't too rare. But then I saw its legs straighten and drop to the ground. It turned round, and what I saw is forever burned into my mind. It was 5 feet tall, tan color, 3-inch hair all over it, except the face. The face was flat with large, flaring nostrils. I froze, but not out of fear. It was like I was mesmerized. I couldn't move. I don't know what happened next. All I can remember is coming to, like out of a trance, almost back to my truck. I don't know how the hell I got there. I felt weird, like you feel coming out, coming out of anesthetic. I made it to my truck and couldn't remember where I was going. I looked through my wallet and looked at the address on my license, and then it started coming back. Obviously, his memory started to come back. Anyway, I made it home safely. I told my wife when I got home she may have to take me to hospital. I wasn't feeling well. I told her what had happened, and I never went back. My wife and my daughter are the only ones I have ever told this to. Yes, they are real. I don't know what they are, but I never want that feeling again. Complete loss of control. That terrifies me. Sorry, I rambled on so long. I can't believe it actually teared up my eyes. And all I can say is, yeah, that's a fantastic.
And he did point out, that when he was setting up, obviously it was just before dawn or just starting, and when he got back to his van, to his pickup, it was about noon. So there was obviously a chunk of time there, 3 hours
chunk of time
just gone.
So where did he go in that time?
Yeah. You see, the thing is, he can't remember leaving either. So all he's got is the memory of seeing the creature, and then next being halfway to his vehicle, with no recollection of how he even set off or what happened after the initial contact. He's got no recollection of what happened there.
Are we talking about the odds effect here?
The odds effect, the odds factor comes into a little bit about that. I mean, that's Jenny Reynolds' thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's different types. I mean, most people are familiar with the Oz effect or Oz factor, but essentially what that is, it's like when you get, say you see a UFO or a Bigfoot, and then everything goes quiet. You can't hear a cricket, you can't hear a bird.
Definitely science.
And then obviously that's in the forest. But if people see UFOs in town centers, that kind of stuff, or cities, that what the Oz factor happens there is where literally everything stops apart from you and the object. So there's no traffic going past, there's no pedestrians. It's just literally
no sound, no cars.
Just stop, like you're in a bubble.
Yeah.
And that crops up in fairy stories as well.
Of course it does, yeah.
You get people saying that they could see people milling around, but they were shouting them and that people couldn't hear them, that kind of stuff. So
obviously these kind of beings can manipulate time.
Yes.
Possible.
So, right, well, I thought I might do a cryptid story.
Okay.
I'm going to do that one now. And this is the Ningen. Yeah, which is Japanese for human, but I don't think it's Japanese. I don't think it's literally to be taken like that, as in this is it looks human. It is human. It just looks human.
Right.
Okay. So it's more of a descriptive thing than an actual Anyway, this goes back to the first sort of reports, and again, the problem with these reports is no one reported them. Okay, so and there's reason for that. I'll get into that, but no one reported them. So the first sort of legitimate sort of site or story of it we get is in the 90s, and that was on a Japanese like chat forum thing, like a kind of Reddit, but for a Japanese version, if you like. And that was on a thing called 2 channel, where a guy said that he was working on a Japanese whaling vessel,
right?
Okay, up near the Antarctic, and he encountered one of these creatures while he was there. But again, like I say, the problem with this is this guy never left his name, because you got to imagine that there's a lot of, you don't report shit like this, right? Especially in the Japanese culture, that kind of thing. The problem would come then is that they might shut the fleet down, not take them serious for reporting stuff like this. So obviously, this is maybe why he held on to the story. But once it came out, he said that he saw a creature which was roughly, and again, estimates vary on this, but he said 60 to 90 feet in length, which like I say, you'll get reports of this creature being 20 to 30 meters long.
Yeah,
which is not out of the range of not out of the realms of a whale. But what he reports seeing is their vessel was sailing along, and he saw what they thought was a submarine, like a submarine just bobbing in the ocean. That gets over to it, and obviously realized it was a living creature, and it swam away. And he said it was white. At first, again, when they first saw it, they thought it was maybe an albino whale, which could happen, or beluga whale, which I'll get into a bit later on, because that's possibly what I think maybe is going on here. But a whale, but again, he said it was more like it had appendages, so it had arms. This one, I think, had legs as well. Now, some people report seeing these with like a mermaid tail. So the legs together and then a tail. But most people, nearly everyone, reports them having arms, and with digits, with fingers. So again, that's really unusual. Again, he said this creature, I'll show you. I've got a picture of one here, so I can show you exactly what it's saying. But again, he reports it being blubbery looking.
Yep.
I just got to say good night to the kiddies.
Sorry.
Bye-bye, sweetie. Bye-bye. Nighty night.
Where did it go?
Nighty night.
Come on then.
Right,
I need a cuddle.
You've got one. You had a cuddle.
For God's sake. Come on.
Bye-bye, sweeties.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sweetie. Oh, see you later. Bye-bye.
See, it's a good job. Bye-bye. It's a good job it's not live, isn't it?
Is it?
So let me just show you this up here. So what we're talking about then is most people will be familiar with a London bus.
Yeah.
And again, when we're talking 20 to 30 meters, we're talking 3 London buses. It seems like people are having a problem with the comments, not being able to comment.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. So yeah, so free London buses. Again, that's a huge creature if it exists. See if I can just bear with us. I'm just trying to
let's go to settings.
Work out how to get the old comments on.
Yeah.
Because people are trying to comment and they can't.
About people, what was it?
It's not that.
No. Strange.
See, we've got a chat box here, look, but I can't see. I mean, if anyone wants to message us, that's on our Facebook. We can just take messages off there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, if you want to share this everywhere you can. So anyway, what was it? Control room. That's the camera. Where's the chat? Chat is there, look.
Yep.
But I can't get it to. Can't anybody?
Strange. Facebook is the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
Facebook is exactly the same as well.
Strange one. Anyway, where was in the story? So yeah. So obviously it swam off, but a picture did surface of, and this was on Google. Google Earth or whatever, and this is like a suspected Ningen sighting, and this was off the coast of Namibia, is it? In Africa?
Namibia.
No, yeah, something like that.
Namibia.
And then things that no one can say.
Yeah, well,
unless you live there. But obviously, this is what people said they saw in this image. Now, if you look at it, I mean, it could just be, and probably is, I guess, 3 icebergs or maybe 2 icebergs. But it is strange that they would be in that location to look like arms. But again, Bill
Holmes, no chat.
There's
oh dear.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think of that? I mean, looks
like a whale to me.
Does it look like an iceberg though?
No, it doesn't.
So you'd say it was a creature, yeah.
Yeah. Loch Ness Monster. Lucky.
So that's that's a sighting. But then you've got artists' impressions of this thing. But again, this guy that reported it on this, and one of the things that they say that these people didn't report it for is because the whaling fleet get closed down and all this stuff, because these things are being endangered. Like usual bollocks that comes up with the Bigfoots and that.
Yeah.
But I'm not buying that. This is like an artist's impression of one. I'll just show you this one so you can see again what we're talking about here.
Just strange.
And this, like I say, I mean, people have said, I mean, you can see it's got a little slit for a mouth. Obviously, it's got the fingers, which people report. It's got, normally, it's said to have 2 little eyes as well. And you can't see it in this picture, this drawing, or presumably this is a drawing. But they do have 2 little eyes. Now, the arms are what separates it from looking like a beluga whale, which I'll just show you a beluga whale so you can see. Now look at that. If that was on the surface of the water using a ship, but the problem is these things only grow up to 5.5 meters.
Yeah.
Then these reports we're getting are 20 to 30 meters. Now, could it be a giant squid?
Squid.
Could it be a giant squid? I mean, these are pretty cool whales anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, beautiful.
But, I don't know. Squid, octopus, you be the judge. But I don't know. But that is the Ningen in a nutshell.
Well, we know there's creatures in the oceans that...
Well, some scientists even tried to say it's possible a sighting of like a deep water octopus. That's because some of them have been able to over time change the skin color to white. So
again, I think it's bullshit. Scientists, most scientists know there's some creatures in.
So do you believe the beluga's even real though?
Of course it is. Yeah. And it's, creatures adapt. It's the waters are changing, the planet's changing, so a lot of people, the habitats are changing, the ice is melting, the ice caps and shit, and places are closing down, and so the creatures have to mutate and adapt. It's only because of evolution that has to do it. So it's like the polar bear, I mean, its place is dying. I mean, what's it going to do next? Going to grow fucking fins? And...
Well, no, the polar bear is going more aquatic, isn't it?
Has to for food.
Yeah. So
for the fish.
So like I don't know how long evolution takes, but I guess like in 500,000 years, 200,000 years, the polar bear will be a whale. Yeah, if it gets a chance to live that long, because obviously the ice caps are melting and all that shit.
Again, it has to. This thing may be, again, from a whale changing to something else.
Well, if you believe in evolution, then the whale, obviously, or the fish came onto land, became wolves, etc. Then some of them went back into the sea and became killer whales and stuff.
That's bullshit.
Well, I don't know, because if you look at a whale,
Darwin, who was a Freemason anyway, and he was open the order.
If you look at you look at the tail of a whale, it's got legs, isn't it? Yeah, so at some point it was running around, and it's got arms, obviously.
It's an evolution, but I said I don't believe in where the fish come on water, then they turned into whatever, and they did to animals. Nah, completely different species. Different species.
We are taking messages, but obviously we can't find out how to do it.
I don't know how. We thought we could take a load of messages tonight, didn't we? We're not taking them.
If you can't take messages this time, we'll set it up again where we can. Take messages.
You have to find out how to do it. Like your Facebook was getting a few messages through, weren't we? Facebook.
Well, yeah, it was working, but it's not working here. People are messaging me saying they can't get.
What's that over there? What's that down there, mate? That there. What's that one?
Just a smiley face.
No, beyond that.
Links.
What's that one?
It's things we can send.
Oh, right. Okay. So, I just sanitation is don't
know. Anyway, do you want to give us a story?
Oh, I'm going to give you the story. This one's called The Peephole. Quite good.
No why?
Yeah, Peephole. Yeah. I'm going to put my glasses on, I'm afraid. Age. Just gets us on.
That's what happens.
Right. This is a true story, apparently. It's called The Peephole. Well, we will call it The Peephole, won't we? Really?
Yep.
The Peephole is a very short, scary story about a young girl who's left home alone when her father goes out of town on business.
Normally the way.
Yeah. A 15-year-old girl named Donna lived with her father in a small house in the suburbs. Ever since her mother died, Donna had depended on her father for everything. They had a wonderful relationship and loved each other very much. One morning, Donna's father was leaving on a business trip. As they ate breakfast together, he told her that he would be home very late that night. With that, he kissed her on the forehead, grabbed his briefcase, and walked out the front door. Later that day, when Donna came home from school, she did some homework and watched some TV. By midnight, her father had still not returned, so she decided to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
That night, she had a dream. She found herself standing on the edge of a busy highway. Cars and trucks whizzed by at an alarming rate. She looked across the highway and saw a familiar figure standing on the other side. It was her father. His hands were cupped around his mouth, and he seemed to be shouting something to her, but she couldn't make out what he was saying. As the traffic whizzed by, she strained to hear. Her father's eyes were sad. He seemed to be desperately trying to communicate something to her. She could barely make out the words, "Don't open door." Suddenly, Donna was awoken from the dream by a strange tapping noise. Tap, tap, tap. Then somebody began to ring the doorbell downstairs. Ring, ring, ring. Maybe she's got some stuff and some sound effects here. It's better with you. Anyway, she scrambled out of bed and put on her slippers. Then, dressed only in her nightgown, she ran downstairs and went to the front door. Looking through the peephole, she saw her father's face outside. He was staring right at her. The doorbell kept ringing insistently. Okay, hold on, I'm coming, she shouted. She pulled back the deadbolt and was about to unlatch the door when she stopped. She looked through the peephole at her father again. Something about his expression didn't look quite right. His eyes were wide open. He looked terrified. She slid the deadbolt back into place. Dad, she yelled through the door. Did you forget your keys? Ring, ring, ring. Dad, answer me. Ring, ring, ring. Dad, please, I need you to answer me. Ring, ring, ring. Is there somebody else out there with you? Ring, ring, ring. Why won't you answer me? Ring, ring, ring. I am not opening the door until you say something. The doorbell kept ringing and ringing, but for some reason her father refused to answer her desperate cries. For the rest of the night, the frightened girl cowered in a corner of the hallway, helplessly listening to the ceaseless ringing of the doorbell. It seemed to go on for hours. Eventually, she fell into an uneasy sleep. At dawn, she woke up and realized that everything was quiet. She crept over to the door and looked through the peephole again. Her father was still there, staring at her. She cautiously opened the door and was confronted with a sight that filled her with unimaginable horror. Her father's severed head was hanging from a nail above the door. There was a note attached to the doorbell. In crude, scrawled handwriting, it read, "Clever girl."
I mean, if that was real, and whoever it was would have just kicked the door open, wouldn't they?
Possible.
So,
but he got attention because obviously he was ringing the doorbell, ring, 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 tap, 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 ring, ring, ring.
Right, I've actually got the comments up here, look, so I can actually see.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
So
we'll do it this way. We'll do it this way.
Right, John's there, Steve's there.
Thanks,
hello,
John.
guys.
Hi, John. How you doing?
Oh, the legend Mateo's in the house.
Hello, Mateo.
From the Whatcast.
How's it going?
So,
yeah, hi, Mateo.
If you don't listen to that podcast,
yeah.
Mark's there. Chelsea, hello.
Hi, Chelsea.
The McLeod Witch.
I hope you find your dog soon, Chelsea. I hope it turns up for you.
Yeah.
Really do.
Positive thinking and all that.
Yeah, of course.
So, if you want to ask a question, obviously now I can see we can answer your questions, and we take any questions on anything.
Is Phil in there? Is Phil
in his underpants? I don't know.
Well, he said he was.
Sit
there and watches in his undergarments.
Yeah, which is a nice thought, isn't it?
Is that just his duds then? Is that what you're saying?
But so right, I'll give you the story of. Well, I won't give it away. I'll just tell you stuff because if I give you the title away, then it'll spoil the story.
Yeah.
Okay, so this goes back to I think around 1950s sort of era, and it takes place in rural Tennessee. And there was a guy there by the name of Tom. Now, Tom was a charming, witty, not like yourself, and good-looking. Oh, there we go. He's let you down there. Good-looking bloke.
Was it?
And he had his
womanizer.
Yeah, he was a bit of a womanizer. So again, you know, and he managed to work his way through all the ladies of his town. Okay, not a big town. And so, you know, eventually he got bored of all the ladies there, which you would do, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So he moved to the neighboring town, okay, where he fell in love, or at first glance, if you like, with a lady called Eleanor. And again, he used his charm, his wit, and his good looks. And Eleanor was sorted with him. So a relationship started. Now everything was going well, apart from one little detail. Eleanor was married.
Oh dear.
Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, so
you get a sound effect.
Yeah, this relationship went on for a little while, and then rumors got around the town. Now, eventually, the husband found out, and he didn't believe it at first. So he thought, "I'll set up a trap, see if I can catch her out." So he tells her he's going away for the weekend for work. And this one unusual. This happened, every now and again. So she didn't suspect anything. And he says, "Right, honey, I'm going." he jumps in the car, drives down the street. Anyway, what he does, he pulls up a bit further up the road, pulls the car over, jumps out of the car, doubles back on himself, and watches the house. Anyway, within sort of 25, 30 minutes, Tom arrives. So the husband watches him get in the car and they drive off. And he manages to get back in his car and follow him. Anyway, they turn down this lover's lane.
As you do.
As you know. Anyway, Tom's there struggling with the bra, trying to get it undone. When there's a knock on the window of the car, and he turns around and sees this guy stood there with a knife, and he falls backwards. The door opens, man reaches in, grabs the lady, pulls her out, sticks her with his knife, cuts her in the guts, and she's screaming, "It's my husband." So Tom realizes he's in the shit here. So he says to the guy, he says, "Look, don't kill me, don't kill me. I didn't know she was married. Don't kill me, please don't kill me." And the husband says, "I'm not going to kill you. I've got something worse lined up for you."
Yeah.
Anyway, so he drags him out the other side of the car. So she's laid on the ground, bleeding out, and she can hear the screams of Tom, agonizing screams. Anyway, eventually the screams stop, and the husband jumps in his car and drives off. Well, the husband, riddled with guilt, what he's done and all the rest of it, jealous rage, goes straight to the police station, hands himself in, and says, tells them the crime that he's committed. So 2 officers drive up there to take a look. They drive up, pull up, and straight away, as soon as obviously it's dark, but as soon as the headlights catch it, see the lady laid on the ground, Eleanor's there. So they jump out, and she's pretty much on the verge of death there. So obviously they get looking for Tom now. So they go around the other side of the car, and they don't see anybody there. I think this was unusual because he's told about it. He told them what was going on. So looking for Tom. So one of the cops is shining around with his flashlight, and as he's shining into the wood line, he sees what he believes is like a sheet or something, piece of clothing. So he walks over to it. The both officers walk over to it, and as they get close to it, they realise that hung from this tree is human skin.
So he was skinned alive then?
Skinned alive. But there was no body of Tom. Anyway, the legend has it that if you go down this lover's lane in Tennessee, rural Tennessee, some listeners from there. So if you go down this lover's lane and you're committing adultery, so I don't think he just does it to anybody that's shagging down there. I think you have to be committing adultery. So if you are down there committing adultery, you'll get paid a visit by Tom. People that have seen Tom report him as looking like a skeleton dripping blood, carrying the knife. And obviously, if you're doing dirty deeds down there and you are committing adultery, he will come after you and kill you. So
he might want to skin you, then just take your skin and put it on him.
Well, I think it's interesting that he's turned table on it, like, because he was the one committing it, and now he's upset at people doing it.
No, maybe he just want to catch him.
Maybe because he got caught out.
Maybe he wants to catch him, skin him, and put that skin on him.
Yep,
I don't know,
maybe.
Some kind of weird shit ritual.
So,
yeah.
I got a stop. Fucking hell. Good job this isn't live. You know what I mean? I look a right twat, wouldn't I?
All the time.
Right, I've got a question from Matteo.
Yeah.
And it's for you.
Okay.
And it says,
why am I drinking out of a jam jar?
Oh yeah, that's a good question to ask. It says, has Andy ever sensed anything that was more than a ghost? A demon, maybe?
Yeah, I've seen something, and it rocked me to my core when I was little. He was evil. He was real evil.
Where was that?
At my home in I was about 9 years old, and I was at my old house. I was growing up there, and I had 3 brothers. One, my oldest brother, had a bedroom of his own. I shared my bedroom with 2 of my younger brothers. And I think everybody knows since a little child, I saw spirit, I saw ghosts, I saw coming in my house. And anyway, I was on tablets like to make me sleep, and psychiatrists and shit. Anyway, it was one night, and what spirit used to do is not every night, but most nights they used to try and pull the covers off me, get my attention. So I used to go.
That was all there was pulling.
Yeah, well, a bit young, mate. was trying. In them days, there was no duvets. It was bed covers, you know, and sheets and shit. So I used to go to the toilet and then close the door and fall asleep on the toilet till daylight. And they never ever came into the toilet. I found it as my sanctuary. They just couldn't pass over that threshold. So anyway, one night I did it. They was bothering me. I went to the toilet with my blanket and pillow, and it was one of them nights where I woke up and it was just breaking dawn. It was just, you could hear the birds chirping and shit. And I came out the door and I went to the landing. I went back to my bedroom, but I knew I'd sensed something there, but I thought it was just a spirit and whatever. And as I pushed the door, that way. As I looked round to see if it was still there or gone, it looked round to me exactly the same time. And this thing was about 4.5 foot, 5 foot, and it had white eyes, and it glared, and that wasn't human. And it kind of it poked its head around the same time that I was going that way. It went exactly the same time, and it wanted to frighten me, and it worked. I absolutely, I was straight to my mum's bedroom and straight to her bed. I was absolutely a mess. That was not human. I've seen spirit before. I've seen discarnate entities. I've never seen nothing like that before. It was not. I mean, a demon again. I don't believe it was a demon. Maybe it's some kind of elemental, some creature, but it wasn't human. I do think it was there to kill me. I just think it was there to scare the shit out of me when it worked. It did it.
Anyway, John wants to know.
Yeah,
it's a fascinating story. John wants to know, what are you drinking?
Well, this is shandy. What Lee made me. I think it's shandy. It's quite nice anyway. It's shandy. Just a shandy. I'm driving, you see. Just a shandy. Just a shandy. Don't know. I'm not sure why. Listen, I'm not sure if Lee's can't afford any real glasses. I'm not sure.
Hey, the witch.
Taking the piss.
I don't use glasses, do I? I'm from Grimsby.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The witch wants to know.
Yeah.
I'm sure what might be calling it that. Wants to know why you think the toilet was so special.
It was my place where they couldn't get me. Anywhere in the house they could get me. They could. I mean, I tried.
Hang on, I didn't finish the question.
Sorry.
You said there. Do you think it was because you had designated it as a safe zone, or your belief made it safe?
I just knew it was safe, and I fell asleep. I mean, good job nobody wanted the toilet in the night.
That would have been embarrassing.
Just a bit.
You sat there with your duvet.
Somebody came out for a wee
sucking your thumb.
Oh, well, I didn't suck. I did taste suck your thumb, yeah. But I just knew I did it in a sense that get to the toilet and they cannot go through. I didn't see any. I knew there was outside, but I knew they couldn't come in. Obviously, I might have made it myself.
The witch is called Joe.
Okay,
so, Joe.
Yeah, Joe. So, yeah. It's again. I still see spirit in my house. Yeah, whatever.
Well, Mateo said, I've seen both ghosts and demons. Why are they so small? Maybe they only have enough energy to appear smaller.
Well, again, I believe that. Again, I understand people got their views, and I respect that. But my view is that demons do not exist. They never have, and they never will exist.
We've got one of these things.
The reason why, obviously, people say, "Oh, it's demon." I mean, you see these programs, don't you? Because it makes a row, or it makes a mess of the room, or it makes these silly noises and scary noises. It's got to be a demon. It has to be a demon, not a family member. One of the loved ones. No, it's got to be a demon.
Yeah.
And I think demons. I mean, I don't know what your take on it, Lee. My take on it is demons. And they are projections from black magicians to, if you want the better word for it, they are psychic vampires. They need the fair energy to feed them, and they take it from you. It could be a 3-foot dwarf, this black magician who's projecting to you a huge 8-foot goat man you see on there, which ain't real, but because you're frightened, your aura gives off this energy which they feed on.
Yeah, but some people have been seeing this creature around where I live.
Yeah, of course they have, yeah.
So
yeah, again, that could be through ritual acts, anything around that with that area. Again, what's that one? Devil's Dyke, that's right, isn't it? Devil's Dyke.
Right, John wants to know, do we ever plan to come to the States?
We'd love to. Absolutely love to, don't we? We'd love to.
Yeah, we've got...
Definitely, John, we'd love to. We will get there one day, won't we?
Yeah.
We'll definitely go there one day. I'd love to go. Beautiful place.
I've got a few people out there I want to say hello to.
Definitely. Dale. We'll see Dale. Say hello to Dale.
Yep.
And
Mateo.
Unfortunately. Jerry.
He's probably wants to emigrate now. He knows we're coming over to see him.
Well, he can come to ours. He can come to UK then, can he?
Yeah.
We'll go there.
Andy, as a sensitive, would you agree that feeling of overwhelming fear points to a demon more than a ghost?
No, again, demons don't exist. They
Well, do you think? I mean, I don't really think
ghosts. Again, I like this kind of entities where they actually. I mean, could you say that a demon or kind of deal with? Have they been human in a past life? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but same as Shadow Man. They're just more interdimensional thing.
Again, the low astral.
Do you think? I mean, I don't personally believe any spirit is negative. I just don't. I've never seen.
Of course it is.
I've never seen. All right, maybe it can be negative, but it can't affect us. It can't. I'm not a fan of possessions. I don't believe.
No,
this kind of stuff.
I think possession
even poltergeist cases very rarely affects people.
Yeah.
You get the odd person, if you watch Ghost Adventures, they get scratched all the time. And
I think I like it, Lee, where I'd like to get the history of them people or the history of the house. So he's doing this and that, but I'd like to get a history of him and what he was doing before he moved into the house and why the house started blowing up.
Interdimensional beings I can go with.
Now it's you've got realms and realms and realms, and these people, and demons now, low astral realms, black magicians, bottling your fear energy so they can feed off it, and that's it. But obviously you get your creatures, you get your myths, you get your legends, but no,
right, I don't believe story time.
Go on then.
There you go. Right, one evening, when I was in my junior year of high school, my mum and dad went out, leaving me alone. I had a lot of homework to do, so I spent the whole evening sitting at my desk watching porn.
Ooh,
I'm obviously putting words into this as we go along.
Well, why not?
My parents left my house around 6 p.m. While I was watching porn, it says doing homework, Obviously, I'm telling it from my point of view.
Yeah, porn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I put on my headphones and was listening to loud music. That's a bad idea when you're watching
porn.
Yeah, because you need to know what's around you, don't you?
Yes.
Anyway, there was a big storm that night, and my desk was facing the window, so I could see the rain and lightning outside. My parents got back around 11 p.m. When I saw their car drive up, I took off my headphones, turned off my DVD. As soon as my mum opened my door and came inside, I heard her shout my name. Which wouldn't be unusual, would it?
No.
What on earth happened here? She demanded in an angry voice. Confused, I ran downstairs. My mum was standing in the hallway with a furious look on her face. She pointed at the floor and yelled, "Was this you?" I looked down and saw the carpet covered in muddy footprints. I have no idea how those got there, I said. I spent the whole evening at doing my homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll actually believe that.
Yeah.
I watched as the look on her face change from anger to confusion, and then to fear. We both realized at the same time somebody else had been in the house. We followed the trail of muddy footprints, trying to make sense of the whole situation. They started at the back door, which was usually left unlocked. Then we noticed something else. The footprints started at the back door, but then there was no trail of footprints leading leaving the back door.
So whatever it was still in the house.
Yep.
Correct.
And you get cases like this, don't you? So,
yes, you do.
All of a sudden, we heard something loud, pounding noise that echoed through the house. Then the sound of the front door being wrenched open and slammed shut again.
Wow.
We all ran into the garage and locked the door behind us. My mum took out her cell phone and called the police. Please come quickly, she shouted. Right. Please come quickly, she shouted. There's someone in the house. That's the best feminine voice you're gonna get.
Yeah, for now, till you're pissed.
It's a good job he's not Scottish.
Oh God, no, don't only Scottishly, please.
After what seemed like hours, I mean, it would be if you lived in the UK. After what seemed like hours, a patrol car arrived. Most times they don't even come out.
No, let's give
a
patrol
crime
car
number. Crime number. Patrol crime arrived. Oh, fucking hell. Good job this isn't live.
It is live.
A patrol car arrived with 2 officers, a male and a female. I don't know if that's relevant. One officer stayed within the garage with us while his partner went into the house. Searching room by room, when she came back, the female officer told us that there was no one in the house and it was safe to go back in. I like how the male officer stayed with them and sent the female officer in the house. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, it's all equal opportunities now, isn't it? So
yeah, she might want to go in anyway.
As we were all breathing a sigh of relief, she asked, "Whose bedroom is upstairs on the left?" Oh no, he didn't leave the porn on, did he? My parents looked at me. "It's mine," I told the officer. She asked us to follow her. As we walked through the house, we could see a trail of muddy footprints leading from the back door, through the living room, through the hallway, up the stairs, into my parents' bedroom, and towards my room. They stopped at my doorway. The female officer pointed at my door, which had been open the whole night. Scrawled on it in black marker was the following: 8:47, I see you. 8:53, you forgot to lock the back door. 8:59, you seem focused. 9:24, turn around. 9:47, look at me. 10:15, look at me. 10:37, look at me. 10:49, look at me. For more than 2 hours, someone had been standing in my doorway, watching me. To this day, I still shudder to think what would have happened if I turned round.
Don't know.
I mean, obviously, it's probably bullshit, but just imagine.
I would turn around.
This is what I said about the headphones, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bad combination.
Yeah, and porn.
Yeah, bad combination.
Should have it, mate.
Right, let me see any questions while I was reading that story.
But story's good. Again, the creatures can come in and out.
John says you were spotted with a psychic vampire.
Yeah, psychic. It's vampirism. Yeah, it's only just.
Dennis likes your air quotes for demon.
What quotes?
For fucking demon.
Truth.
Ghost Adventures. So Joseph Ghost Adventures is rubbish. Quite agree. It used to be good. Interdimensional beings. Yeah, I think most of what we're dealing with here, even down to fairies and Bigfoots.
Yeah, again, it said, if he watches his programs,
fairies,
he spots his programs, his ghost programs that are going in, and the kitchen's going mad, and things are being thrown around the room, and things are moving, machinery's going on. It's got to be a demon. Nothing odd, it's got to be a demon. No, it's not. Check out why it's going on. It could be a family member trying to get in touch with you, saying, "Look, I'm fine. I'm okay. I made it. Great." It's got to be a demon.
I mean, the fairy
demons won't really bother with you. Really.
Joe's saying that fairies, Bigfoots, that kind of thing, are probably interdimensional beings as well.
Yeah.
And I know Mateo's seen a shadow man. I don't know where he puts that, but that for me is definitely an interdimensional being. But what I don't get about shadow people, same with fairies to some extent, but why they don't want to be seen by us. Obviously, presenting themselves in a shadow is a good way of camouflage, but why? What is it? Why can't they?
Again,
obviously, maybe they know more secrets than us.
No, possible, because maybe they're just on a low frequency and they can't come out from that frequency. They're stuck with it. That's it. You know, they're in the shadows. That's a low frequency realm for them. They can maybe see us, but they can't pass over that threshold.
I think Raymond said, he said, are you going to do a spin-off podcast called Low Astral Realms?
Well, if you want, I can tell you all about it if you want.
No, we don't. No.
Sure. Well, you know, these accounts of the hells. Oh, Dante's Inferno. Bullshit, mate.
Have you ever been scared by a ghost?
Well, that's the only time I just said. You know, that time when that thing. I looked around the door.
Other than the toilet.
No,
we don't want to hear about again.
No. It's not scared. No, apprehensive. Yeah, until I found out what it was. Until I found it me.
Should we tell everybody what happened when we went ghost hunting?
Oh no, it's bullshit. Oh, ghost hunting was it? It's crap, wasn't it? We rolled the car, didn't we? Wasn't it for a while, didn't we? That's the only thing really that really.
That was the scariest bit of the night.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and they managed to put us in a ditch.
It wasn't my problem. It was weather related.
Weather related.
It was. I was doing 10 miles an hour. I was going really slow, and it just dragged us into the hedge.
That's fast for you.
Well, yeah, you gotta watch your speed in that kind of weather, mate. But it was crap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they chucked us out, didn't they? It was in a whole. Well, no, they put us into segments, weren't they? It was going to put us into a group, and I think that they just wanted to get rid of us because I think beginning of it, before we went into the start the ghost hunting, one of the ladies said, "Have you got any? You know, have you got any qualms about bloody Ouija board?" And I put my hand up and I said, "I'm not touching Ouija board. I don't want nothing to do with Ouija board." I thought I don't think she ever liked me, did she? Chucked us out.
I won't say I've ever been scared, but confused. I was confused when I saw a UFO.
No, I've only seen, to my knowledge, UFOs twice, but not a UFO, but a cubes. I've only seen cubes. I haven't seen spherical ones or saucer ones. The other two sources I've seen in the sky are cubes.
That account I'll give you about the Oz Effect one.
It's in there somewhere, mate.
There you go, look. So I'll show you this again. So UFOs, look. So this is an example of the Oz Effect, like I was saying before. In one instance, on late summer's evening in 1978, a Manchester couple watched a UFO, obviously Manchester in England, okay?
Yeah.
Watched a UFO hover above a well-travelled street, almost inexplicably devoid of customary brisk vehicular and pedestrian traffic. On the afternoon of April 15th, 1989, a father and son watched a metallic gold-coloured dumbbell-shaped object. And that's the closest sort of shape that I can get to what I saw. Dumbbell. Accompanied by four smaller discs, maneuvering low in the sky near their home. And this is in California. As puzzling to the witness as the UFOs themselves, the absence of other humans at the time of day would be, extraordinary. That's what I'm saying. You've got two examples there. People seeing UFOs, broad daylight, and yet nobody else is around.
Well, again, they must have some kind of manipulation of time where they can just, we know time's, you can manipulate time anyway. Time's an illusion, so it can be manipulated for their ends. Again, I've never seen, I've had run-ins. I think I've had run-ins with ETs, but nothing really to talk about. Oh yes, that's the story of the cow, isn't it? But yeah, it's I like.
You got the cow.
Oh,
you got the cow.
Yeah, you had it, mate. The details, yeah, it's on the paper. Yeah, this is the car one. That's it.
That one, yeah.
That's the one, mate. On my specs.
So, dumbbell shape, yeah, because like I say, when I saw it, I mean, from underneath, it looks like this, but from the side, maybe it looks like dumbbells. Huh?
Possible.
Who knows?
Possible.
Alien, anyway.
No
I
aliens,
do
mate. No aliens. No. That's no, I don't believe in that. This is called a planned midnight walk. This encounter happened 2 weeks ago, and it's still, fortunately or unfortunately, fresh in my mind, depending on how you view it. I'm a 16-year-old girl and tall, being around 5'9". That doesn't really relate to the story, but it just helps to imagine.
I'll put it in anyway.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
But it just helps to imagine this experience better, I guess. I just got it from school, and I was exhausted from the humidity mixed in with the hour and a half walk I take coming home from school. So I planned to relax for 2 hours before heading out at sunset to jog. I'm one of those people who walk or run in order to relieve stress. Okay. 7 p.m. rolled around, and I looked out my window to make sure it wasn't too light to go outside. But I didn't get quite a good look at where the sun was, as my eyes focused on a man staring up at me from the middle of the street adjacent to my house. Now, when creepy things happen to me, I don't tend to overlook them. I always think twice about everything, and sometimes that leads me to overthink. This was one of those times as I was contemplating what to do while still stupidly locking eyes with this guy. I noticed something wrong with his neck.
Mm-hmm.
It looked to be lopsided and causing his head to lean over a little to the side. If I thought this dude wasn't creepy enough, his head was permanently tilted to the side. Just my luck. This man was of medium build, looked around my height, and wore surprisingly clean and normal clothing, unlike your average cliche horror movie. This man wasn't wearing a single black item on him. He was wearing a regular t-shirt with some kind of logo on it, regular jeans, and sneakers. I grabbed my phone off my dresser to take a picture of this guy, as my family always made fun of me for being over dramatic in these sorts of situations. I start taking a picture of him, almost exhilarated to finally have proof for my brother and parents that creepy shit does in fact really happen to me, and in no way do I make it up. I take this picture about 5 times as my thumb shaked and repeatedly pressed the photo button out of adrenaline. I turn away from the window and slide down to my floor, the window now above my head. I go to my messages and press Mom to let her know what's going on. I press my photo album and send her the pictures. Typing underneath it, I'm about a sentence or two in when I look above the chat box at the photo. It was of an empty street. Nothing near it except for a few tall oak trees and one house. I felt like throwing up. My gut felt ripped out of my body. It felt empty yet so heavy. There was no man in the photo. I exit out of the message app and go straight into my photo album, remembering that I took a few photos of him. I began to slide my finger through the photos, feeling like I was close to explain what had happened with where. She picks up within seconds, and I begin to explain the best of my ability without any evidence of the man. I was sure she was going to just say calm down, but internally think I was over the edge crazy. But she asked me to repeat the part of my explanation where I described the man and what he looked like. Typing this, I am shaking as a result of what she said to me during that call. The man I was explaining was her brother. He died of a head injury and impact due to a car accident that occurred over 20 years ago. Well, it's a bit kind of long just to say what she saw. Basically, she saw this guy in the street. She took some pictures with her phone. The pictures didn't come out, but apparently she found out that this guy had died. The person she saw was a person who died 20 years ago in a car fatality.
That's it. Right. John said they're referring to Ouija board poll, which, by the way, the poll on Facebook is: do you believe that Ouija boards are dangerous?
Yes,
And
I do.
think,
Definitely.
I think, I don't know. I think it's propaganda myself. But
Don't mess with the shit. Don't mess with it.
80% of people on more or less at the moment saying that yes, they are dangerous. But
it's great. It's great. Yeah, very dangerous.
Joe says that there was a Star Trek episode. You'll know this. Star Trek episode where the crew were in some sort of sped up dimension. You know that?
Which one? Star Trek?
Yeah.
Next Generation? Voyager?
I don't know, but there was an episode where it was all sped up.
Well, again, it's just a movie trying to tell you, isn't it?
Disappeared to all the other crew. Oh, yeah, so the other crew couldn't see them. This is what might be happening with these creatures.
Possible, yeah, different frequency.
It makes sense, I
it does make
suppose.
sense,
John
doesn't
said
it?
that,
Yeah, makes sense.
It says quantum reality. These encounters happen when two realities touch.
Yep.
Yep.
So anybody, we'd love to get to America. One day we are going, aren't we? We're going to go, mate.
Yeah. Well, presumably they'll let me in.
Why? Why? You like American? You're not a terrorism. It's bullshit. Don't say too much, mate. We'll get shut down.
Right, so my friend was driving along. One huge owl flew out of the woods right in front of the car. The wings covered the windscreen. It flew like that so long to pull over.
Yeah.
So you get these stories, don't you, where you hear, where you see owls like flying along with people and stuff, and people take that to be like these owls seem to have some sort of supernatural bearing on them.
Well, again, these entities maybe can influence animals and birds. I'm not saying the spirits
what was that
people.
Film
I reckon they can influence them.
What was that film where
they're so connected to nature?
Basically tried to say the aliens were owls.
Nah, that's bullshit.
Or using owls.
He's watching too many movies, too many horror movies, mate. I don't like. No, again, it's.
Well, it's time to get a kebab, isn't it?
I don't eat kebabs. I'm a pescatarian.
This is my usual complexion, by
I'm a pescatarian, by the way.
I've been out.
He's a cannibal.
Been out drinking in the sun today, and
right, so yeah,
obviously received some. We went to try and catch some crabs.
Oh, right, okay.
The girls.
What did your wife have to say about that then?
No, she wasn't here, but I took the girls down the beach to catch some crabs. Caught one as well.
Did you?
Yeah, and then obviously I had to pick it up.
Do you know how to kill a crab?
I didn't want to kill it. I just wanted to.
Well, I mean, you.
I had to pick it up because I wasn't getting the girls. Obviously, they want to pick it up. So,
yeah.
So I had to pick it up so we can have a photograph of it.
Just little small baby ones.
It was about.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, usually, say the little water pools aren't. That's where they are, aren't they? Usually
that's where I caught him. Yeah, but I'm there trying to pick him up, and I tell you what, his claws come right back.
Oh yeah,
a lot further back than usual.
I won't mess with them, mate. Won't mess with them.
It was like a fucking gymnastic crab, you know what I mean? Like fucking 4 fingers. So
me and my Steve used to many years ago go crabbing and stuff and that in the water pools. And if you got 2 out of hand, I said chuck it, but he said no, he got hold of it and he killed it. Basically, it's called the money box, isn't it? Like his mouth, but they call that money box. He just dead. Put his mouth out.
Right, if you're gonna eat it, I wouldn't do it.
Well, no, one big one, not big. I mean, just
Well, I won't kill anything for
well, I wouldn't. I'm saying he was little. You just, again, it's you're children, aren't you? You know what we like. Same with we used to make mud pies. Do you ever make a mud pie, Lee?
Communion. Is that it?
Make a mud pie. And you used to put spiders in it and earwigs and everything in it. Never ate it, right? But just a mud pie. And I never understood why we made a mud pie for it. Never leaves it.
Yeah, so I should have brought that crab out. No, I didn't want Andy to eat. I didn't want anybody to eat. I just wanted to.
No, it's not edible. It's
natural environment. Show the girls.
And did you put the crab back?
Yeah.
You put the stone back. Did you put it?
No, he was just in a pool. So.
Oh, okay then. Well, that's nothing wrong with that, mate. That's great. Fantastic.
But,
no, that's great, mate. Yeah. No.
But yeah, like I say, like John said, it was a gymnastic crab. Honestly, I picked him up at the back so he couldn't get me, and he's claws went.
Oh yeah,
like
they can get you.
And I was like,
yeah, they give you a nasty nip.
through it, you know what I mean?
Give you a nasty
So I'm
nip.
going to the girls, here, hold it, you won't hurt, you won't hurt. Then I'm running away, like screaming. Anyway, the point is, obviously, it's time to get kebabs. So,
yeah, it's time for me to go home and get some to eat. Definitely.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so
tonight,
much.
Taking time out of your busy lives
yeah.
to come and sit with us.
Yeah, and probably America. We are coming to the USA soon.
Yep,
yeah,
you've been warned.
We're coming, mate. Yeah.
Mateo.
Yeah, I want to go back to. I want to visit a few places. It's a fantastic place. Yeah, we'll do. But I think you know, my dream is to the fields. You know.
Yeah, Norway.
Norway, the land of the giants.
That's where the trolls live.
That's where we're going out, mate.
And we're doing a show on elves.
We're going to go. We can do a cruise.
Elves and stuff. So that's what won the poll, isn't it?
Yeah, elves. We did a show on elves, didn't we?
Yeah, but then we did a poll.
What did people want? That one got ranked by him for about a year, 2 years.
We did a poll.
Ah, right, okay.
What the people wanted to see us do again?
And elves came top.
Elves came top.
Right, okay.
So elves.
Elves will do them.
So good night.
Good night.
And we'll see you on the other side.
Take care now. Bye-bye.